Hey Crestwood, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you guys are doing wonderfully today. Boy, what a reason to be joyful, just that we have this day that God has given us and the sun is shining right now, and we are blessed in so many ways, even in the midst of our challenges. So I hope you're feeling blessed today by God. It's my honor to bring you this devotional for this Wednesday, November 20th. I'm very happy to announce that this will be a devotional that will be politics-free. Yay! I'm so glad to be done talking about it. Doesn't mean it's not still important and doesn't mean that we don't have work to do. But let's take a break from talking about it and talk about more important things like religion. I want to talk today about the most important religion in the lives of so many of you and so many of the people that live here in Lexington. Of course, I'm talking about, no, not Christianity, UK basketball. I learned very early on here in Lexington that is a religion on par with Christianity and sometimes one step above it, especially when there's a game on Sunday afternoon that tips off at noon and I see people checking their watches at about 11:30 during worship. You know, we have a new basketball coach here, Mark Pope, as many of you know, and I have been so impressed with his work, not just on the floor with his team and their impressive start, but in his comments and the things that he has said that have really struck me because of their thoughtfulness and because of the grounding that they have in spirituality. I want to share with you something that he said after last night's win against Lipscomb University when he was talking to the press afterwards about his team and how they prepare for games. I'm going to read it to you. This is what he says. He says, "Our guys are really hungry to get better. We are hungry to be a great team. We don't have a lot of time to do it. So, the last game was over and it was kind of on to how can we get better? How can we get better?" That's the only thing we talk about. And the biology of that, the neuroscience of that, is 100% in support of it. We're not going to focus on what we don't want to have happen. We're going to focus on what we do want to have happen. And our guys have received that well. We did not spend much time on that at all, and we won't. That's not the way we do it. That doesn't mean we won't ever have bad results. It just means that we're going to always focus on what we are trying to do, and we're going to try to be laser focused on that. We're not going to spend a lot of time thinking about what we do not want to have happen. I love that. I love his focus. We're not going to focus on the things we're trying to avoid. We're going to focus on the things we're trying to achieve. So much of that resonates with me spiritually as well. I certainly think of Jesus in Matthew's Gospel in the Sermon on the Mount when he talks about worry. He says, how does worry add even 1 hour to your life? He talks about all the reasons we have not to worry and then says, look, today gives you enough to worry about. Don't worry about tomorrow. And I would add with what Pope says, also don't worry about the past. It's done. That last game is over. Moving on, instead of trying to avoid mistakes of the past, what if you focus on what you do want to do in the future, what you do want to accomplish? There's two ways of looking at that as we move forward. We can look at avoiding making mistakes, or we can look at trying to achieve the things that we want to achieve. And I think that's so important as we think about how do we live out our faith in our lives today. Our goal as followers of Christ is not to just avoid making mistakes so we can get to heaven. Our goal is to be actively living out our faith in a way that makes a difference in people's lives. I know a lot of us can be ridden with guilt over past decisions that we've made, over past behaviors, over things that we've let define us. But Jesus and Mark Pope both say, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the past because you can't change it. Don't worry about, oh my gosh, is this going to happen again? Instead, focus your energy on what you do want to happen in your life, on the things that you do want to accomplish as a follower of Christ, the things you do want to do for God's kingdom in this world. That, I think, is where our energy is better spent. And so I think about that going into this holiday season. It's going to be fraught with all kinds of challenges to living faithfully. Family dynamics, getting caught up in consumerism, just the exhaustion of the season. And so I really want to encourage you as we prepare to pause and give thanks, to give thanks for all that God has done for you, to trust that God's going to always show up for you, and then to focus on what is it you want to do to make your faith known in this world. Don't worry about what you don't want to do. Don't worry about what might happen or not happen. That's worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. If you simply focus on who you are and who Christ has called you to be and how you can live that out in a way that makes a difference in this world, I feel like that's enough, right? That's in your control. So much is not in your control, but what is in your control is where you focus and how you live out your faith that makes a difference in the lives of other people. Crestwood, go and do what Jesus and Mark Pope have called you to do. God bless you, Crestwood.